The nearly $8 billion projected budget surplus provides lawmakers with the resources to tackle any number of problems, setting the stage for a non-budget setting session of competing ideas between the Republican-led Senate and the DFL-led House. Joining me to talk about the priorities of the Senate Republican Caucus is the Senate Majority Leader, Jeremy Miller. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hi, Shannon. Thanks for having me.
Let's start with the budget surplus. Governor Walz has said that he would like to give some of that money back to taxpayers. Are the Senate Republicans interested in returning some of the surplus, and how?
So the state of Minnesota has a massive budget surplus, $7.7 billion and growing. All expectations are when the February forecast comes out that surplus is going to be even larger. And we're hearing loud and clear from people all across the state of Minnesota, give the money back, especially with record inflation that's eating away at family budgets. And what Senate Republicans are going to propose is permanent, ongoing tax relief, so people have more money in their pockets every single paycheck, week after week, month after month, year after year. So instead of a one-time check that the governor's proposing that barely scratches the surface of inflation, Republicans are proposing permanent, ongoing tax relief. In addition, the state of Minnesota is one of, I think, only 12 or 13 states that still taxes Social Security income. We will propose completely eliminating taxes on Social Security income, because we know senior citizens are also struggling with inflation, especially those on a fixed income. So we think it's important to eliminate Social Security taxes.
You've said on numerous occasions that you and your fellow caucus members are hearing from constituents about the rising crime rate around the state of Minnesota and in the Twin Cities. It even dominated the forum between the governor and legislative leaders and the Capitol Press Corps. So it's a really big topic. What is your caucus proposing to improve public safety?
Sure. So we have senior citizens getting beat up and robbed. We have carjackings happening on a regular occurrence. We have innocent people getting shot. Cops are getting shot. Kids are getting shot. Violent crime is absolutely out of control right now in the state of Minnesota, especially in the Twin Cities metropolitan area. Public safety will be a top priority for Senate Republicans. The first thing we're going to do is provide funding for more police officers. We know more cops results in less crime. In addition to that, we feel it's important that violent criminals are held accountable for their actions. If someone breaks the law, there should be consequences. And public safety is going to be an issue that has to be a priority for public officials, both parties, all levels, to really take this issue seriously and hold people accountable. So again, public safety will be a top priority for Senate Republicans. We're going to provide funding for more police officers and hold criminals accountable for their actions.
Also in your press material priority list is education. Senate Education Chair Roger Chamberlain spoke about the impact that the pandemic has had on kids, on families, and on teachers. What will you propose to improve education?
So first and foremost, it's important for kids to be in the classroom. So that's a top priority. In addition to that, we feel that every discussion related to education should be focused on what's best for the kids. And at a time when kids are falling behind in the classroom, we feel like it's more important than ever for parents to be involved in their children's education and engaged with educators to ensure that our kids are getting that top quality education that they deserve. And Senator Chamberlain and Senate Republicans are going to really take a back to the basics approach to education. We want to take politics out of the classroom and focus on core subjects like reading, math, science, and history. And we're also going to put a really strong focus on literacy. One of the reasons kids are falling behind is because they're having trouble with reading. They're not proficient in reading. And when you're not proficient in reading, it makes every other subject area that much more difficult. So we're going to come out with a proposal that focuses on literacy and helps students become more proficient in reading.
As you well know, the Frontline Worker Pay Working Group met over the interim, was not able to reach an agreement on the $250 million that the legislature had set aside to reward frontline workers in the early days of the pandemic. Now that we're in a new legislative session, how likely is it that, the surplus can be used to maybe increase the pot size and find a compromise where both sides agree that people who deserve a reward will get one?
Sure. So the Republicans put forward a proposal based on the $250 million that was agreed to during the last legislative session that really focused on healthcare workers and first responders. We think it's important for folks to get a meaningful bonus or a meaningful check, but we wanted to focus in on the Minnesotans who took the most risk to help keep others safe and healthy during the pandemic. And to us, that's healthcare workers, first responders, law enforcement. Unfortunately, an agreement was not made on that $250 million. We are not interested in going above that because now we are focused on, again, that permanent ongoing tax relief that will provide more money to Minnesotans across the board.
I've heard both DFLers and Republicans talk about the need to replenish the Unemployment Insurance Trust Fund, which was basically decimated by the pandemic. I believe we owe the feds money at this point. Governor Walz has voiced his support. If a solution is not found soon, then Minnesota businesses are going to be on the hook. Could this be an early bipartisan win?
I think this could be an early bipartisan win. You have Democrats talking about it, Republicans talking about it in the legislature. The governor has proposed it. So yes, Senate Republicans will put forward a proposal next week. Senator Pratt and Senator Rosen have worked out the numbers, and that'll be introduced or in Senator Pratt's committee next week. So I hope this can be an early session bipartisan victory because everyone's talking about it. Let's get it done.
And finally, this is an even year. It's a bonding year. The Senate Capital Investment Committee has been touring the state looking at projects. If a bonding bill is to become a reality, what are some of the projects that the Senate Republicans would like to ensure are funded?
Sure. So Senate Republicans will be focused on core infrastructure projects, including roads and bridges, asset preservation. We feel like it's important to take care of the existing buildings that the state already has. Senator Bach and the Senate Capital Investment Committee have been touring the state. As we know, the final bonding bill has to originate and pass the Minnesota House of Representatives first before it comes over to the Senate. So we're hopeful that Republicans and Democrats can come together on a bipartisan bill that focuses on core infrastructure projects, roads and bridges, asset preservation, and I'm hopeful and optimistic that that can get done this session.
Well, and then knowing that there is federal money from the federal infrastructure package coming, and there will need to be state dollars to leverage to get the most federal dollars. Is that important to you to make sure that that gets done so that Minnesota gets the absolutely best benefit?
Absolutely. So we have roughly $4.5 to $5 billion of federal infrastructure dollars coming to the state of Minnesota. Some of those funds need matching money, matching funds from the state. Others don't. We're still trying to sift through that and figure out what needs matches and what doesn't, and then how does that correlate with the additional needs that the state of Minnesota has. So still a lot of unanswered questions when it comes to infrastructure and how those federal dollars can work with the state dollars, but I'm confident we'll get it figured out, and hopefully we can pass a bipartisan bonding bill this session.
Senate Majority Leader Jeremy Miller, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.